Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Studio 22, our sophomoric episode 2. Yes, the wise morons are back here for Highballs with Heaton. Today, we are featuring the Redneck Riviera. It is a blended premium whiskey made in Portland, Oregon, up there where you liberals live. And it is pretty good stuff for a blended whiskey. Small batch whiskey with vanilla honey smoothness and a subtle oak finish. As always, sitting across from me, looking so elegant and debutante.
Thank you.
I don't even know if that's a compliment.
I'll take it as one.
I know. Cheers.
Cheers.
Andrew Heaton, the host of Something's Off with Andrew Heaton. Over at the Peanut Gallery, we have Party Foul Steve, the man that knows all things history. And no, I was still talking about Steve.
I know, Tara.
You pointed at me.
No, I was still going to talk about all the things Steve doesn't know.
Your eye drift.
But nonetheless, trust me, my eye drifts over to you at all times because I don't want to look at Steve. Oh, look at y'all. Y'all's hair. Y'all actually have the same color hair.
We do.
Look at that. Anytime he mentions Steve's hair, he's got to rub his hands through it.
I do because everyone thinks I have a mullet, and that's not fair.
Well, maybe you just get a damn haircut, hippie.
No, I should just get a mullet.
He's great.
Business in the front, party in the back, right?
That's right.
Just buzz that thing up. Get you like one of them Billy Ray Cyrus, the spike hairdo on the front.
Oh, yeah.
You could do that.
Work.
And Andrew, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. You know what I want to get?
What?
I want to get an ultraviolet face tattoo. I'm going to unpack that for you. It's a tattoo that only shows up in black light, and I do it like Darth Maul. And then when I play laser tag, it'd be completely terrifying to small children.
That would be absolutely scary. I would want to get like the Mike Tyson thing, just on the side, right into your eye orbital socket right there. What would you get, Party Foul? What would you guys get? Tell me about your ultraviolet tattoo.
I'm still wondering about his laser tag adventure with kids.
You know what? I love laser tag. I'm not going to even try to apologize for this. It's a fine sport, and also I'm really good at it, and I'm a lot better than 8-year-olds, and I get a lot of good points off of all the kids that play in there. If you keep playing laser tag from puberty all the way in your mid-30s, you get pretty good.
You know, I've never played laser tag.
Wait, really?
Never. Not once.
You know, there's a facility around here. We could do that.
Let's do it.
Okay, cool.
It's party time, Mom.
Party time.
What would you get?
I just stick with the one I
have. Do you have an ultraviolet tattoo?
No, I just have a tattoo. It would be the same.
Well, I got like 13 or 14 of those.
It would be that. But it's I have a Browning automatic rifle on my thigh. Statue of Liberty.
That is the most Republican tattoo.
That's what I'm going to get. Ultraviolet.
Which, being interpreted, means don't mess with her.
Yep.
Okay? You got a Browning rifle on your thigh? Well, Highballs with Heaton is never a show that is going to keep from surprising you. Do you have any tattoos?
No, I don't. I other than those ultraviolet tattoos I've thought of, I'm afraid if I get one that there'll be like a little detail wrong with it, and I'll look at it, and that's all I'll think about, so I can't get one.
I don't regret a single tattoo, but here's what I worry about. First of all, even if you get the ultraviolet one, it's still going to scab up while it heals. So people will be able to see your scabs on your face.
Yeah,
so make sure you got about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks to heal.
Okay.
And my fear with the ultraviolet is, what if it was just that hint of
I'm
blue?
worried about that. Yeah, where people are just like, what? Is that guy manufactured? Did somebody put him together in a factory?
I think it's Will Smith. I think it's iRobot. Heaton.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I thought about, you know Viktor Frankl? Have you read
Of course,
You've read Viktor Frankl?
Yeah.
I really like Man's Search for Meaning. It was a very formative book in my life. And I when hanging out with some friends one night, a few drinks in, I was like, I would like to honor him, and I might like find out what his number was, because the book is in the is set on the Holocaust. And I was like, I might get his number, and then I sobered up. That's a terrible idea to get a number. That's an awful bad idea. That would not be not be cool at all. Even though the intentions were good.
Yeah.
But I was like, that would about, because whenever anybody saw it, I'd go, now before I show you this thing, and whenever you do that with tattoos, it's probably not going to be very good. So,
no, that would be a very bad thing. Yeah. That would be a very, very bad thing. We're going to take it to the head. And when I say that, here's what I mean. The head holds all the topics. The head holds all things. Andrew Heaton, would you do the honors and pick a topic for us to agree or possibly disagree on? This is for you, America.
Should those with domestic abuse pasts be allowed to purchase guns?
So Obviously, we're talking about the people who were the abusers, not the abusees. Because if you were an abusee,
I don't believe in empowering victims, Chad.
You,
You should just nope. Sorry, you had your chance.
you should have used the gun when you had the chance. You proved your irresponsibility by getting your ass kicked by Earl.
Trust in the system. The system went ahead and designated it. Yeah, you're fine.
Exactly. Steve, what you got?
I was going to say Earl's got to die.
Steve kind of looks like an Earl, doesn't he? Look
You
at
guys
him
are a very
over
pro
there.
death penalty show. I mean,
We
there's a
love
lot
killing.
of death penalty here.
We just believe some things need killing, you know? And
That's actually the state motto of Oklahoma.
Earl had
in veritas
to die.
omnis
Yeah.
killing.
So should domestic abusers lose their right to purchase a firearm? I am going to say, isn't being a domestic abuser, isn't when it's proven, that's a felony, right?
I think so.
It's
I
not a
believe so.
misdemeanor. It shouldn't be a misdemeanor.
Maybe in Kentucky.
I
but-
think that they should be castrated. So anything that requires castration, well, that's more rape. But let's say we talked about this off air. Like I believe in corporal punishment. I think you do as well.
I actually weirdly, I do if it's an option.
Yeah.
Can I unpack that real quick? Or do you want
Please
to stay
do.
on
No,
that?
be all
Because that was
means,
a
by
kind
all
of a cool
means.
thing we were talking about a minute ago. Because the last time I was on your program, we talked about the death penalty, and I said that weirdly enough, I actually am in favor of corporal punishment if it's an option. And I say that because like if you're at home and you're looking at me, I look like the kind of guy that would be arrested for white collar crimes of embezzlement, don't I? Like if you were looking at me, you're like, he's either a children's show host or a British count, or he's definitely going to prison for embezzlement. And between like getting beaten up, raped, messed up for 8.5 years, I would if the judge went, or we can cane you, I would 100% rather be caned. And so I think that a lot of the time, if it's a non-violent crime, they should give you the option of corporal punishment because I can keep doing my job and putting money in the economy and not suck up your money in prison and that kind of thing.
This is spoken like a personal, just like a dude who has never been hit by a bamboo fishing pole by his grandfather.
Guilty as charged.
Trust me when I tell you that caning
but
thing.
you know what? I haven't been raped in prison either, though. In between the two, I'm going to go with a cane.
Well, I'm not going to talk about my
Irrefutable
experiences.
logic right
I'm
there.
not going to talk about my experiences with men who wanted a piece of this sweet country apple. But I will tell you that to get caned is quite an experience. Let me tell you, those switches will bring the blood, my friend. But I would probably have to agree with the fact
8
that
years
I'm okay.
old or 2 weeks, though? I'd rather do the 2 weeks.
I mean, I might not be able to sit down for 6 weeks, but
Either
by
way.
God, just draw those blisters. But no, I think that if you beat a woman, this is an interesting topic.
I'm
here.
so glad we're drinking, Chad.
If you beat a woman, then we should be able to beat on you a little bit. Like a dude ought to get backhanded a little bit, you know, like
okay.
introduce him to the 5 fingers. Like, look at these knuckles, make me a sandwich. So that's what I'm thinking is let's slap them around a little bit.
Yeah.
And no, they shouldn't be allowed to have guns. Although domestic abusers, they're not the ones who are necessarily using guns to domestically abuse.
Well,
Now I'm putting that on guys because if it's a girl, occasionally there are some panty-waist beta males that are out there getting beat up by the women in their life. So should we be allowed to beat the women? I say why not?
Well, I say
agree.
hitting a woman outside of sex is wrong.
Okay. But look, they're high-fiving on that.
I'm just going to shrink into the shrubbery. you will
So-
go
What
ahead and
is
have
a
your
feminist,
conversation.
though?
I'll come back in a minute.
So what do you say?
Yeah.
Should women be spanked?
Yeah. But I want to go back to the domestic abuse gun thing.
Oh, we were talking about that.
Yeah, yes, I would say you can have your gun confiscated for that. I think that broadly speaking, you have a right to defend yourself, and that's the individual right behind the Second Amendment. You have a right to defend yourself. It's not exhaustive. You don't always get a gun. You're not entitled to a gun if you're in prison. So there are situations in which you can abrogate that right. And with domestic abuse, there's a very high correlation between domestic abuse and gun murder. And so if you look at that, I'm like, you violated the law and you're a higher risk for committing crime with a gun. Yeah, I think under that circumstance, I'm okay with taking your gun away.
Yeah, I think we agree on that topic.
Okay,
I think we
nice.
should. I think anything
I
that
read.
you can
I looked
use-
at that and I was like, oh no, this is going to be one
No,
where I'm.
if you're
on
a
the
violent
outs again.
person, I think any means that like you shouldn't be able to own a baseball bat or a frying pan or a fly swatter or a wooden spoon. Like if you're committed to violence, you're going to find ways. No knives, no butcher, none of that. Did you see? So recent headlines: Bernie Sanders said that he thinks that felons inside the penitentiary system in America should be allowed to vote while they're in prison. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually do think they should be allowed to vote. Yeah.
Come on.
I don't think that's something that should be abrogated by virtue. In the same way that, like, I don't want to exile anybody. Like, I don't think we really, like, the Roman Empire used to do that. We don't exile people. You're still a member of the community, and there are certain rights that aren't abrogated. If you're in prison, we can't dictate to you what religion you are. You get to maintain your Christianity or your lack thereof, whatever you want to do. That conscience is still up to you, right? I would say with voting, same thing. I think you should be able to run from prison. I think that'd actually be a pretty fun race. If you're running for prison, traffic camp, I think that was probably a lot of fun. But also, I think you should be able to vote. And I say it for a couple of reasons.
They should leave the gate open for like 30 minutes a day just to see who takes a shot, Like there should be trying to get through the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade when he had to make his way through that maze of horrors.
There are a lot of ways we can make prison more fun. Actually, you know what? In Oklahoma, we have a prison rodeo. We have the McAllister prison rodeo that I've been to.
I think Trump would take the vote in prisons. I think he would go in it and own them.
He might. I don't know. It would do something interesting. Like, so Oklahoma, where I'm from, which is probably the second reddest state in the union, I think now after. We're like the holster of the Bible Belt. Utah's the buckle. So we're the reddest state, save maybe Utah. But we also have the highest amount of felons in the country. And maybe the world, I don't know, because America incarcerates more than anybody else in the entire planet, including China, which has 1 billion people, right? Mm-hmm. So I suspect that if you gave everybody the right to vote, it'd modify. Like Oklahoma would probably be a lot more forgiving of drug crimes, I think, because a lot of the people that are in our prisons are there for meth. And while there's all sorts of issues surrounding that, like I do think there's a difference between nonviolent crime and violent crime. So it might alter some stuff.
Well, thank God for Donald Trump and his prison reform. There you go.
You know what? Hats off to him for his prison reform.
Yeah.
I'm not a Trump fan, but he's gone into criminal justice and he's done a great job with that, and I'm really glad he has.
Well, that's because Donald Trump is a left of center politician. He's not right of center. He's not a Republican. He's not even conservative.
I hesitate to eat in the same way that I won't put me on that spectrum. I don't know that you should put Trump on that spectrum
Donald Trump
either.
is a left of center politician. That's why people on the left are going so crazy. But here's what I'll challenge with you on the right to vote if you're a felon in prison. So you talked about people's freedom of religion and things like that. So your freedom of religion is actually a right. You have the right to pursue religion. You don't have the right to vote. You have the privilege to vote. And that's why I say that no, if you are going to be a felon and you forfeit your privilege of gun ownership, you should also have to forfeit your privilege to be able to vote. Because voting's not necessarily a right. It's something we fought for and we gave ourselves the ability to do it. But that's why people can abstain from it. And there's people who, Party Foul Steve, he's never voted in his life. And he's practically 60. He's coming around.
But what about the people that have served their time? They were a felon. They've served their time. They get out. They're now a member of society.
That's another discussion.
I'd be for that. Yeah. No,
Andrew?
I think that if you've, I think we make things very, very difficult for people that are getting out of prison.
Absolutely.
If you've served your time, I want you to come back into the community. I want you to get a job, and I don't wish you ill if you've served your time. So if they're out, then welcome back. I think they should be allowed to vote for sure.
I agree.
You have paid your price, and that is the deal. And I'd say to any person out there that adheres to the Christian faith who says, hey, look, Jesus paid the price on the cross. I'm going to adhere to the expiation of my sins because of his sacrifice. Well, if a person has made their sacrifice and they've paid their debt, then their sins should no longer count against them. Is there a record of it? There will always be a record of it because that's human nature. But yeah, I agree with you.
Unless your name is Jussie Smollett, you can have it expunged.
Just drop it. Yeah. So, but no, I always believe, and I think that's one area where you and I totally agree. I think you err on the side of grace.
Yeah.
And that is where people, we need a society that embraces forgiveness and graciousness and mercy and things like that, because at the end of the day, we are still human beings, and people do a lot of crazy things. Some they mean to do, some they don't.
I really regret the time that I spent in the Ford administration in the 70s. I did a lot of things I'm not proud of. And, I'm glad that I've been able to rehabilitate.
But wasn't Watergate a fun little endeavor? I mean, let me tell you something. That break-in was a trip, dude. I was like, y'all will never get away with that. And they're like, come on, do it with us. And I was like, I got nothing else to do, and it's a hotel. Let's break in and have fun. Tricky Dick, man. Those were the days. Tricky Dick. But no, I think we've come to the conclusion. If you beat a woman you can't have a gun because you might beat her with it. And there
Okay.
you go.
Yeah.
Highballs with Heaton. Stay tuned. We'll be back very, very soon with episode 3 and a brand new topic. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
You liberal son of a...